Hi, and welcome to the Orange County Library System's Fiber Arts tutorials. I'm Vanya, and today I'm going to show you how to use yarn and your fingers to make beautiful jewelry through finger knitting. So you need your yarn. You can use any yarn that you like. I'm using a thicker yarn today. And of course you need your fingers. Now you can use your right or your left hand. Today I'm going to be using my left. I'm going to take the end of my yarn, also known as the tail, and I'm going to drape it just into the palm of my left hand. Then I'm going to secure it with my thumb. After you do that, you're going to see that you have the rest of your yarn coming around the back of your hand. I'm going to go around the back of my index finger and then in front of my middle finger and then behind my ring finger and in front of my pinky finger. Next, I'm going to go all the way around my pinky finger, in front of my ring finger, behind my middle finger, and finally in front of my index finger. Now I have 4 loops on my fingers, but to finger knit I'm going to need to have 2 loops on each finger. And today we're finger knitting with all 4 fingers. So next I'm going to take my yarn, which is behind my index finger. I'm going to come around the index finger in front of my middle, behind my ring, and in front of my pinky, all the way around my pinky, in front of my ring, behind my middle, and then in front of my index finger. Now I have 8 rings in total, 2 on each finger. From here, I'm ready to start knitting. I'm going to take my bottom loop. This is the loop that's furthest away from the tip of your finger, and I'm going to pull it over the tip of my finger, leaving the first loop on. Again, I'm going to take on my middle finger the bottom loop, and I'm going to pull it over the tip of my finger, leaving the first loop on. Then, ring, bottom over the top of the finger, and finally pinky, bottom over the top of the finger. I'm now left with 1 loop on each hand. I can also let my tail go now, and you can tug on it gently to secure your work. Now I'm just going to take these down back to the base of my fingers so that I have room to work the next row. Now each line of stitches that I work is known as a row. So I'm going to take my yarn. It is in between or at the back of my middle finger, in between the index and the middle finger. And I'm going to go ahead and just come around the front of the index finger, behind the middle, in front of the ring, and behind the pinky. All the way around the pinky, behind the ring, in front of the middle, and ending behind the index finger. And again, I have those 2 loops on each finger. Starting with my index finger, I'm going to take the bottom loop over the top loop, bottom loop over the top loop, bottom loop over the top loop, bottom loop over the top loop. And I'm going to continue to do this, interweaving the yarn in between my fingers until I have 2 loops on each finger. And then knitting by pulling the bottom loop over the top loop, 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 all the way across. Now we're going to continue to do that until we have reached the length of knitting that we want. You can always pull on your tail to tighten the knitting you have on the back of your hand, and as this grows, you're going to see that your work develops. So continue to work until you have all of the length that you need for your project. Now finger knitting, you can do a lot of different projects. You can create beautiful statement necklaces, cuffs, and jewelry. You can also create belts and headbands. It makes beautiful home decor, and you can use it to embellish pieces like pillows, or if you'd like, you can sew pieces together to create rugs and larger pieces of fabric. You can also create toys like snakes and octopi, and there really are a wide variety of options for you out there. Now, after you've reached your final length and you're happy with your length, the next thing we have to do is we have to get it off our fingers in a way that's going to secure the piece and have nothing unravel. So starting with my pinky finger, I'm just going to take the loop and I'm going to pull it over onto my ring finger. Let's do that one more time. I'm going to start over on my pinky finger and I'm going to take the remaining loop and I'm going to transfer it onto my ring finger. Next, I'm going to take the bottom loop and come over the top of that loop. Then the loop on my ring finger comes over onto my middle finger, and the bottom loop on my middle finger comes over that loop. And lastly, I take my middle finger and I transfer it over to my index finger. Bottom loop goes over the top. Now to finish your work, you're going to need to cut a length. Now if you have a length at the beginning you want them to match for something like a necklace or a bracelet, you can just simply hold them out like that, or of course you can measure them. Cut your yarn and you have a brand new tail. You're going to take this tail into the remaining loop to secure it and draw it all the way through that loop. Then you can gently tug on each side to secure and create your necklace. Now you're ready to go with a beautiful new statement necklace